А вот тут вот остатки 3-й бригады, наследничка Азова.
We have seen hundreds of stories like this, but each time we are still amazed by Russian incompetence and disregard for human life. In this case, the lives of their own soldiers. A special military operation veteran claims that only 17 out of 179 men from his unit remain due to the meat assaults near Kupiansk. This occupier is also an aide to a deputy and a coordinator of the SMO Veterans Association in Moscow.
Here you arrived at Svatovo. What tasks were set before you?
By any means, I advance towards Kupiansk. Forward, you are the best forward. And now I have 17 people left alive from the squad. That's all.
This is from how many?
72, yes. Right, in Kupiansk, near Kupiansk. Well, I don't know. I wasn't there, but the guys see. Of course, that they were just stupidly driven forward into the meat. However you want to lead, The last times the guys were just going to retrieve their own. You could say that. This, the 6th, 7th, 8th time, because they knew there was someone there. A wounded one lying there. They were just trying to pull out their own. I know at what cost and how hard it is even now for widows with children. The guys are lying near Kupiansk. They can't be retrieved. We know the locations, but all the payments have stopped. That's it.
And according to the law, we can't do anything.
During a massive missile and drone attack on Ukraine on the night of September 2nd to 3rd, 3 Russian bombers failed to launch due to technical problems, reported the Telegram channel Dossier Shpiona. It is noted that the strategic bomber 2160 Ivan Yarygin, tail number 04, did not launch missiles due to the failure of the launcher mechanism. Another Tu-160, the Alexei Plokov, tail number 16, was struck by lightning while performing a mission. The incident damaged the cockpit windows, forcing the crew to stop the flight and return to the airfield. In addition, another aircraft, the type of which is not specified, was unable to take off from the airfield in Engels. The reasons for the third plane's failure are currently unknown. The failure of 2 aircraft may indicate the inability of the Russian military-industrial complex to properly maintain strategic aircraft. The problems may also be the result of intensive use and exhaustion of the life of individual components and assemblies. An additional factor may be Operation Spiderweb, in which the Security Service of Ukraine destroyed and damaged a significant portion of Russian strategic aircraft. Both aircraft flying combat missions and aircraft used as donors for spare parts were hit. As a result, Russian aviation may face a shortage of components to repair and restore the combat capability of missile-carrying bombers. And this is a real combat footage. Operation by Ukraine's 93rd Brigade. A ground robotic system alter ego, carrying explosives, drove onto a bridge used by Russian forces for logistics and cover, while an FPV drone triggered the detonation. The bridge was completely destroyed. Ukraine's 93rd Mechanized Brigade Kholodny Yar is one of the country's most battle-hardened units, known for defending Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Bakhmut, and symbolizing resilience through some of the toughest battles of the war. A Ukrainian Bayraktar. TB2 successfully destroyed a high-speed Russian military boat attempting to land on the Tendra Spit. The press service of the Ukrainian Navy published the footage of the strikes. The naval drone deployed 2 guided bombs targeting both the Russian boat and a concentration of Russian airborne forces troops. According to the command of the Ukrainian Navy, 7 invaders were killed and 4 more were wounded as a result of the strikes. Russian military forces use the Tendra Spit as a stronghold for observation and conducting operations in the northern part of the Black Sea. In particular, the invaders deploy relay stations there to extend the flight range of reconnaissance and strike drones. Special units of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, together with the Special Operations Forces, have repeatedly conducted raids on enemy positions. However, control of the location remains with the enemy. The presence of naval aviation in the region, where Russian air defense systems traditionally operate actively, may be a result of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine having neutralized enemy radars. In June, the Ukrainian Navy destroyed a Russian invader's boat carrying assault troops. The Russian vessel was moving along the western coast of the Kherson region when it was detected and subsequently struck. The command of the Ukrainian Navy stated that the vessel belonged to the Russian Black Sea Fleet. On August 20th, 2025, as a result of an operation by Ukrainian intelligence officers in the Black Sea near temporarily occupied Zalizny port in the Kherson region, an air-launched missile destroyed a boat of the Russian invaders. The strike was most likely executed by a Bayraktar TB-2 drone, as indicated by the distinctive interface. It is reported that as a result of the strike, all 5 members of the Russian crew had been eliminated. Ukrainian troops have used a swarm of drones controlled by an artificial intelligence system against the Russian invaders, reported the Wall Street Journal. According to the newspaper, a group of 3 Ukrainian drones recently approached Russian positions under the cover of darkness and independently determined the moment to launch a strike. The swarm technology opens a new stage in drone warfare, as it allows dozens or even thousands of drones to be used simultaneously. According to a high-ranking Ukrainian officer and representatives of a software company, Ukraine has already used swarm attacks on the battlefield for most of the past year. Analysts emphasize that these hitherto non-public operations were the first known example of the regular use of swarm technology in warfare, which underscores Ukraine's leadership in this area. At the same time, the use of artificial intelligence on the battlefield raises ethical concerns that machines can make decisions about the life and death of military and civilians. The recent attack used technology from Swarmer, whose software allows for the coordination of groups of drones. According to its representatives, tests will soon take place using a swarm of 100 drones. Ukrainian forces first used Swarmer technology to lay mines about a year ago. Subsequently, it was used to target Russian military, equipment, and infrastructure. An anonymous Ukrainian armed forces officer said that his unit had used the system more than 100 times, and that other units had also received drones with the software. It typically uses Swarmer with 3 vehicles, although there are reports of cases of use with 8. Kuprienko, a company spokesman, said the software has been successfully tested with groups of up to 25 drones. According to the officer, a standard operation involves the use of 1 reconnaissance drone and 2 strike drones armed with small bombs to hit a Russian trench. The operator sets the area to search for targets and gives the command to attack once they are found. The reconnaissance drone lays out a route for the strike vehicles, and the strike vehicles determine the time and order of the munitions drop. Nearly 1 in 3 of Russia's top companies posted losses in the first half of 2025, the highest share since the COVID-19 pandemic, Russian media reported on Tuesday. Kremlin-aligned newspaper Izvestia, citing figures from state statistics agency Rosstat, wrote that around 19,000 companies had collectively lost more than 5 trillion rubles, $62 billion, between January and June. This year, the share of unprofitable firms grew by 2.3 percentage points to reach 30.4%, the first time that this figure surpassed 30% since the pandemic in 2020. Analysts speaking to Izvestia attributed the poor results to Western sanctions and inflation driven by bloated military spending, as well as corporate tax increases and steep interest rates from Russia's central bank. Russia's Economic Development Ministry blamed seasonal patterns for the losses, saying that profits would rebound later in the year, according to the Moscow Times. The data did not include small and medium-sized firms, financial institutions, or state entities. While sectors linked to the war effort soared, such as defense and engineering firms which reported revenue growth of up to 200%, coal mining, utilities, transportation, and research were among the hardest hit. It comes amid increasing speculation about the frailty of Moscow's war economy. Earlier this month, Andriy Yermak, the head of Ukraine's presidential office, said that Russia's budget deficit had risen by $13 billion in July, with the overall deficit this year surpassing $54 billion. The Institute for the Study of War wrote that Ukraine's repeated bombardment of Russian oil facilities, which has sparked widespread shortages and outages, will likely raise inflation and cause further macroeconomic instability in Russia. In June this year, Russia's central bank lowered the key rate from 21% to 20% in the first decrease since October 2024, as a period of growth overheating sparked by massively ramped-up military spending gave way to a broader slowdown. Last week, Bloomberg reported that Russia's GDP had expanded by just 1.1% over the first 7 months of the year, barely meeting the most conservative growth forecasts from the central bank. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened sweeping economic retaliation if the Kremlin does not agree to a ceasefire, saying that he could impose 100% tariffs on U.S. imports from countries that continue to buy Russian oil. Last week, he warned that there could be an economic war if Vladimir Putin failed to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine, saying, "An economic war is going to be bad, and it's going to be bad for Russia, and I don't want that."
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.